€70 million due to delays in health insurance claims being finalised. Deputy Kevin Humphreys.
Thank you. Thank the House for picking this as a topical debate. Can I first of all say, and no disrespect to the Minister that's present, that I'm disappointed Mr O'Reilly isn't here to take this himself. Can I point out that 10 months ago I raised this through parliamentary question, that the issue was causing a revenue loss to the health service. At that time it was estimated, through the answer I received, that it was about 76 million. My colleague Kieran Conway was told at a meeting of the Health and Children's Committee on the 20th of September by Dr Tony O'Brien, Director General of the HSE, that the figure owed is in the region of €60 million. And why, at the Public Accounts Committee just last week, Deputy Kieran O'Donnelly it was indicated it was now at 74 million that was outstanding. I asked the Minister in January what disciplinary action, if any, could be taken, and he would indicated at that time that he wanted the issue addressed under Croke Park Agreement. Now that was 10 months ago, and up to last week we're still getting an indication that 74 million is outstanding. The Department indicated that there was no contract requirement that the medical consultants should sign off on health insurance claim forms. Now, I often wonder, is there a contract with a bus driver to make sure that the bus fares are collected? You know, it seems to be one rule for very high-paid workers in the public sector and one for ones on more modest incomes. But I would put it to you, Minister, that under the 1999 contract, that consultants has to cooperate with its employee authority for the collection and maintenance of fees, and in the 2008 contract that consultants are to work within the framework of the Hospital Agency and Service Plan. This delay in claiming the fees that are due are having a major effect on cash flow in our hospitals. I know the Minister has managed recently in making substantial savings in the drugs, and there's the bill currently going through the House on generic and reference prices has to be commended to the Minister, but I still am very disappointed that we've seen little or no action in relation to this. Can I ask at this stage what action is being taken to ensure that these claims are paid promptly, signed off by highly paid consultants? Was it part of the recent discussions with the IMO and the Irish Hospital Consultants Association, and if so, will it be implemented, as it is unclear if that deal will actually come into force, according to many in the media. And again, there was media speculation this morning on when exactly they will arrive in the Labour Court. Can I just say, in conclusion, we had a debate here yesterday evening about home helps. Today, we're standing in this House that was raised over 10 months ago, and I raised it over 10 months ago, of this 74 million. Now, I think consultants need to get a grip on themselves. They need to carry out their job that they're employed for, to make sure that the hospital service and the HSE that we have is properly funded, is part of their responsibility. And for them to shrug their shoulders and say, I will not sign, means that hospital beds lie open, wards close, and people in need don't get the hospital treatment they require and deserve. Now, Minister Cannon, I know you're here substituting, but I hope you carry this message loud and clear. It is no longer acceptable in this country for highly paid consultants not to sign off on these insurance forms. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Deputy Minister.
I'm taking this topical issue debate on behalf of my colleague James Riley, TD, the Minister for Health, and I want to thank Deputy Humphreys for raising the very important issue indeed. The HSE and the voluntary hospitals recoup a considerable amount from private health insurance companies in return for private and semi-private treatment services provided to patients with private health insurance cover. However, as the Deputy has outlined, lengthy delays can occur between the discharge of patients and the receipt of payment from the health insurance companies. And this has led to an unacceptably high level of debtor days and months, with a significant amount in fees outstanding. And as at the end of September 2012, €204 million was due to the HSE from private health insurance companies in respect of treatment provided to private patients. Of the 204 million, 100 million relates to claims that are under preparation in hospitals, and 104 million relates to claims submitted to insurers which are either being processed or have been pended. Delays in consultants signing off on health insurance forms is one of the issues affecting the claims collation process in public hospitals, and of the €100 million under preparation in hospitals, €73 million relates to delays in consultant sign-off. Minister Riley has instructed the HSE to address this issue as a matter of urgency, and the HSE in turn has directed hospitals to bring down the value of claims awaiting consultant action, and hospitals are also targeting the highest value claims. This issue was also addressed by health service employers and the two consultant representatives bodies at the Labour Relations Commission, and an important feature of the proposals agreed between the parties was a commitment on the part of all consultants to expeditious processing and the signing of claims for submission to private health insurers. Consultants will be required to fully complete and sign private insurance forms within 14 days of receipt of all the relevant documentation, and to cooperate with a secondary consultant scheme whereby a secondary consultant involved in a case can sign the claim form if the primary consultant has not signed it within a reasonable time frame. They will also be required to support the implementation of electronic claim preparation. The Health Service Management is now proceeding with implementation of this and other measures in the coming weeks, having regard to the relevant provisions in the public sector agreement. In addition to addressing delays in consultant sign-off, the HSE has also awarded a contract for the phased rollout of an electronic claims management system in 11 HSE sites. And this system will address the deficiencies, and there are many, of the current paper-based process. It will also streamline the claims collection process and will also ensure that standardised work practices are implemented across all hospitals. The system is currently live in 6 hospital sites, with a further 3 to come on board by mid-November. It's also worth reflecting on the intensive work that has been ongoing between Minister Riley's department and the main private health insurers to reach an agreement in principle on an accelerated income collection process, which will generate an additional once-off cash flow benefit in the region of €125 million in 2012. And those accelerated payment arrangements are at, again, an advanced stage, with the detail of the legal agreements between the HSE and the insurers expected to be finalised very, very shortly. To conclude, Minister Riley has emphasised to the HSE the importance of addressing the issue of income collection in conjunction with the insurers, so that maximum resources possible are available to the health system. And he believes that the range of measures that I have outlined today will contribute to improving the collection of income that is outstanding to the public hospital system.
Thank you, Minister. Deputy Humphreys, you have 2 minutes.
Can I thank the Minister for his very full answer, and I sincerely hope what he's outlined will happen, because, as I said, it's 10 months since I raised this issue, and at last, by your answer, Minister, it seems to be we're getting some action. But isn't it a shame that we had to take so long to get them to pull into line? There's over 2,200 consultants working in public hospitals. You know, they're using beds for private patients, drawing down enormous salaries from private practice, with questionable practices. Are those incomes subject to PRSI? You know, I think we really need to look at in depth the practices and methods of consultants in our public hospitals. I welcome, as he said, as he outlined, the payments. We'll have to wait and see are they delivered. But I'd say it is very, very unfortunate, and shame on the consultants that they had to go to such lengths, that this government had to go to such lengths to ensure that the income stream and the cash flows of our hospitals were guaranteed. These are the men and women that walk the corridors of the hospitals, see the shortfalls on income coming in, and yet delayed in signing off on significant sums that would make substantial differences to the hospitals at this stage. Minister, I welcome your response. I, for one, will be monitoring it very closely. I will be checking to see are the 14 days achieved. I'll be asking for further information according to the practices that consultants carry on in the public hospital service. And I want to see these savings, this cash flow delivered, and delivered quickly. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Deputy Minister.
Just to thank Deputy Humphreys once again for raising this issue. I agree wholeheartedly with him. These are very significant sums of money which could be expended on frontline services, but they're held in abeyance because simply of a lack of will on the part of certain ranks within the health sector, and perhaps some bureaucratic difficulties associated with the payment process. But I think it's obvious from my response that Minister Riley has prioritised the solution to this particular problem. And those three particular items that I mentioned in the response, the opportunity for a second consultant to sign off on an insurance claim, the electronic claims management system will shortly be in place across 11 sites across the country, and the work that's ongoing with the health insurers themselves to put in place an accelerated income collection process. I think those three working together, and one can only conclude from the response that those measures will be put in place quite quickly, will serve to address this issue. And I have a funny feeling that this time next year we may not have such a very substantial amount of money outstanding.
Sir. And the next